Go to your page.
We're live right now.
We're live right now? Okay,
yes.
We're live. Welcome to episode 14 of Empowering Women Through Fitness. I am your host as a guest on Julie's Be Live broadcast. So welcome to the show, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Julie, for improvising with me and being here today. I'm going to quick look on my Facebook here for the live broadcast. So bear with me for just a second. Inner Blueprint.
Your Inner Blueprint.
Your Inner Blueprint. Okay.
So the business page is Julie Parker Biz.
Oh, perfect.
That's my Facebook page. Here we go. And it's not showing up. Oh, well. Well, it's good to be here with you finally. Where there's a will, there's a way, right?
Yes,
we made it work.
Okay, I think I see it now. There it is. So I'm going to go ahead and share this over to my page.
Okay.
Share now public. Let's see. This has been shared. Let me just make sure it actually went to my timeline. And
yeah, I see us.
You see it?
I see it on mine, on my business page.
Okay. Yay, we made it. So thank you so much for being flexible and improvising. We were just chatting offline where we feel like sometimes our Facebook is just going through changes and they just can't keep up. And technology has its blessings and it's, of course, challenges. So we roll with the punches around here. But anyways, so Julie, how are you today?
Doing great. Thank you. And it's great to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. So I think, and we tried this like 3 times. So every time we had a bunch of people that came on. So I hope they all come back because I think everyone's kind of interested to see what you have to say. But before we get into all the nitty gritty and the fun stuff, I did want to do my icebreaker questions with you. So if you watched my show before, if not, this will be new to you. But they're super easy questions. So don't
okay.
But this is just for those of us. I've had a chance to meet you a few times, but for those that have not met you yet, this is some fun ways to get to know you. So,
cool.
First question, super easy. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Chicago.
Perfect. And I know where you live now, but where do you live now?
I'm in Houston, Texas. I've been here since 1983. Long time.
1983. Yeah. Once you felt the warm winters, you never went back, right?
This is home.
What is something you're grateful for today?
Today, my gratitude lists are huge. I'm grateful to be here with you. Grateful for my son and daughter-in-law, my grandpuppy.
Oh.
Grateful for dance. Grateful for internet and live stream and how we connected. I mean, grateful for face reading and yeah. Awesome.
I'm reposting it again to do a watch party. If you could have lunch with anyone, who would it be and why?
That's a good one. Can I think about that for a little bit?
Sure, we can always pass you. What is a skill you would like to learn?
What is a skill? I would love to be able to sing.
Yeah.
Just use my voice better. I mean, my son was a vocal student in high school, and then he was also a member of the boy choir at U of H before that. And he's got this amazing voice. And for some reason, I think it would help me speak better and project better. I find that when I'm out either networking or out dancing and people are talking to me, I just strain. And sometimes when I speak as well. So I would love to, and I'd love to sing too. So yeah.
I have a little bit of a singing bug in my bones too.
You do? Cool.
Yeah. What is one item on your bucket list that you've accomplished?
Public speaking.
Awesome. and maybe this ties in with your skill. What is the next item you would want to check off your bucket list?
I mean, there are business items and there are, professional and there are personal items.
Yeah. Just pick one.
Oh, let's see. Probably going to Greece.
Greece?
Greece.
Oh, Greece.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, definitely. I'm with you on that one. That would be awesome, and I would love to go there as well. So traveling is always an amazing bucket list item.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so we're going to dive in a little bit and I want to know a little bit of backstory before we talk a little bit more about self-care and kind of the face reading. But tell us a little bit about you, kind of what was your journey to get to this point, and give us a snippet of your story.
Okay, so all right, make this concise. It's a longer story than that. But anyway, I was at a contract job working as an analyst in the oil and gas industry, and I really wanted to do something else. I mean, I love the couple things that I did love was the money was great, and I was working with my son, which was awesome to see his awesome face, his handsome face every day. But I was really ready and just really wanting something else, and I kept thinking, what do I want to do? I love nutrition, I love alternative healing, and so I thought, well, what if I become a nutritional coach? And I kept hearing the market is so saturated. You know, what's your special niche? And I don't know, I love it and I'm good at it, but you know.
Yeah.
So I took a course, and then kind of through a series of events, I was guided to someone who actually does face reading, and she has a book. Went to her website and scheduled a reading because I was looking for something else, but I figured I'd find that answer if I actually scheduled a reading. And I mean, it answered so many questions. I mean, many of us are on a journey to find, you know, why certain things are happening the way they are in our life, or certain patterns, or just stuck. And this really, and I'm on the same journey. I mean, you know, I wanted to find out why things were happening and wanted to improve my life and improve my just personal development wise. Yeah. And she answered so many questions. I mean, I sent her just pictures of my face and my birthday, and that was it. She knew nothing about me, never met me, nothing.
Yeah.
And holy cow, what she came back with was just extraordinary.
Yeah.
And it answered a lot of questions I'd been looking for decades, and shed positive light on things that I had previously judged or criticized myself for, feeling like, you know, kind of like an alien. I was like, do I belong here? What's, you know, what's happening? Why is this not working? Yeah. So that was a really interesting, fascinating, informative experience. And I wanted to learn more. So that's kind of how I came back. She had a workshop that I went to attend, and she had a training workshop that I went to attend after that. And there was a layoff in oil in the contract position I was in that I really didn't want to be in anyway. Yeah. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise and a kick in the pants that I needed.
Yeah.
So I asked her, I was like, now what do we do? And she goes, well, I hate to toot my own horn, but you are really good at this. So I started my business. Here I am.
Wow. How long ago was that?
That was 2015, early 2015. So that was 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So okay, let's talk a little bit more, I guess, since we're on this topic. And when we met each other a couple weeks ago, you kind of explained it to me, but it was a different environment, so we didn't really get a chance to chat about it. But when I hear face reading, I kind of think like palm reading, and I don't know anything about palm reading. So is it the same thing? You kind of told me it stems from like Chinese something, but I don't remember. So can you kind of explain a little bit?
So it is a little woo. It can be considered woo, but it's also based on science. Yeah. And it's been done for thousands of years. So it's based on Chinese medicine. 3,000 years ago, Taoist monks were the original healers back then, but because they couldn't touch women, they had to come up with a way to diagnose. So they discovered some way of being able to find, and people still use it for diagnostic reasons as well. I don't as much unless I see something really obvious that I know about, I'll use it then, but I just kind of bring it up. But they also discovered that there were similarities within certain, what this is, I guess it's different from palm reading. And, you know, there's fingerprint reading, oddly, which is a very unusual skill, but there's all kinds of different modalities, but I feel like it all kind of really hones in on the same things within people. I mean, I don't know about, I really can't speak for palm reading because I don't know it. I've had a couple things mentioned to me, but I didn't really understand it. But you know, that's by looking at your face, and it's not, I can't predict the future. I can't read people's minds, and I'm not psychic. I'm empathic. So I get some information from people's energy anyway, but by looking at people's faces, it's the GPS of who they are, really. It's like a map or a navigation to really relate with and connect with them in a way that makes them feel heard and appreciated, acknowledged, accepted, and respected.
Yeah. And really, I mean, and on a very basic, normal person level, like myself, if you pay attention to people and you're intuitive and you are aware of your surroundings and you watch people, you can get a lot of information from your face.
You can, and but many people don't do that. Many people are not intuitive, and they don't pay attention because they don't understand it. They don't recognize it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, very interesting. So I wanted to tell you, because we haven't even had a chance to talk about it, but so when we had just a quick little conversation and you looked at my face and I appreciated that. So there's three things that stuck out to me that she said, and one of them, and some of it was just confirming, but it's also made me a lot more aware. One of them was, I procrastinate at things that are very difficult for me to handle, or like whether it's the difficult conversations or things that really stress me out that I don't want to deal with. I will wait till I absolutely have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's not as bad, or it doesn't turn out to be as bad as I anticipated it to be in my mind. But once you recognize that in me, and of course the next week I had to deal with a difficult thing, I was way more aware of it and noticed that pattern of procrastination. So that was one thing. Another thing that you said was that I let people in really fast, and of course my personality is very friendly. I'm very outgoing and I'm very trusting. And one of the things you said to me was just like, let people do the work. So let some people...
Let people earn their way into your...
Yes,
yeah.
That's exactly what you said.
Yes.
And I've kind of like put the brake... I don't want to say put the brakes on it, but now I'm more aware of like, how is this relationship benefiting me, or am I the only one giving? So whether it's, with a girlfriend or a business or anybody, any type of relationship, am I the one putting in all the effort, or is that effort being reciprocated too? So it made me more aware of how am I spending my energy, who am I spending it with, and just being conscious of that. And there was one more. Now it's totally escaping me.
Can I just say kudos to you for both of those? For one thing, it was empowering, but that good for you for being aware of it and remembering it and applying it. So
yeah. No, it was really cool, and I'm trying to remember. Like you said something about my cheekbones. You said like people will kind of be respectful to me, or want to help me, and I need to be receptive of that, because I can be very much like, oh, I got it. Like, and part of me wants to be like, just because I'm pretty doesn't mean I can't lift my own stuff. But at the same time, just allowing people to help me, that's like another thing.
Yes.
That I have to work on. But it was just so fascinating that you can kind of see these things in your face. And maybe the other one that you said to me that stuck with me will come as we're talking. But and I was asking you, like, how does it work? Because you would look at the dates, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that. But like, how do the dates associate with your features? Or I've been talking, so now I want to hear.
That's okay. No worries. All good. So part of it is I incorporate, when I was trained how to do this, there's the birth date piece, which is what you don't see in the face, and then what you do see in the face. So it's kind of, it's like it fills in the gaps. The birth date piece is older than numerology and astrology. It's based on Chinese, I don't know why I'm lost for words right now. Feng Shui, Chinese astrology, and I don't know why I lost. Anyway, there's one of I can't remember it from.
Nobody's going to go Google it to see if you're right.
But what it does is it really talks about your main personality, how you show up under stress and emotionally, and then what your life purpose, life challenges are. And what the Chinese believe that at the moment that you were born, the energies present were imprinted in you. So predetermined was how you show up under stress, how, your main personality and what your life purpose, life challenges are. And then, like in the face, that's just there. And some people will say, okay, so my grandparent had, or my grandmother had the same nose, or, my brother has the same lips or whatever, or eyes or whatever. That just means you have the same
features?
Well, the same features, but the same meaning.
Oh.
So, you've got a really nice domed round forehead. Your grandmother might have had the same. So there's like an intuition there and a creativity there, but also a deep thinker. She might have the same thing as well. It's just that you share that.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Kind of, but it's only because I'm just...
A lot of information.
Yes, yeah, sure. So how have you seen this and I kind of experienced like just being more aware and having that short amount of time with you and just grasping two tools out of it. But how have you seen this work and be effective in other clients' lives?
Let's see. Okay, so in my own life, it's helped me understand myself on a very deep level.
Yeah.
And kind of what I'm here to do. It also has helped me understand my son. I wish I had known this when he was younger. It would save both of us a whole lot of grief. I had a client come in that wanted to, actually, one is waiting for a reading right now.
Oh, no.
So, no, it's okay. She sent pictures, and she's a friend of mine. She's like, just met this guy. Can you read him for me real quick? I just want to know. I was like, sure. Well, she also sent pictures of her mother had a financial advisor, and she herself didn't trust the guy, didn't know why, but the mother was like, no. And she's like, well, wait a second, something's going on here, and I'm not really happy with it. So she sent me pictures, and I was like, whoa, fire him, please. Not good with money, and I don't trust him. But another gal came in. She was dating someone. She not her first relationship. She's got children from a previous marriage, and she's like, I'm falling in love with him, and I really want to know, is he the real deal, or is it going to get, what's going on here? Yeah. So fortunately for her, it worked out really well. I said, don't tell me anything, just show me pictures and give me his birthday. So because I want it to be organic.
Yes.
And it turned out to be really good. I said, this is the way he's going to be emotionally, he's going to be affectionate. And there were some other things, I don't want to say too much about it, but it worked out, those were qualities that she wanted in a partner. So it worked out really well. So she felt like she could go all the way, open her heart all the way with him. Yeah. Trying to think of some other stories of other clients. One client, or one very dear friend of mine, actually 2 stories from her. She had a house that she wanted to rent out. Mm-hmm. And she had a husband and wife, and she's like, hey, can you read these 2 people? And she sends me their driver's license picture. And I always tell clients, if we're not local and if they're going to send me pictures, which I don't prefer, but I prefer to do it in person or by Zoom or something. But she sent me driver's license pictures, and I'm like, oh, cringing. But I was like, all right, I'll tell you all that I can see. But they're like lines through it, and you don't know if it's their natural state or And I get a lot from them talking. So and especially a driver's license picture, you don't know if it's like oh, hey, I'm taking your picture. If it's like a deer in the headlight look, or if it's their natural look. So I told her whatever what I saw, and it turned out to work out really well for her. They're good tenants, and it was good information.
That's so interesting.
So yeah, and then she also showed me a picture when I first told her that I was learning how to do this, and she goes, okay, look at my son's ears. Look at them. And she goes, what do they mean? And I told her, and she was like, I said, because his ears stuck out a little bit. They weren't flush, straight back. They were flush. I said, is he independent? Maybe a little strong-willed? She goes, oh my gosh. So those are a few.
Yeah. So when you talk about like your son, and of course I have a 9-year-old son, so maybe I can get a head start on this, but like what benefits does it have in knowing, like say if I were to send a picture of my boyfriend to you, what benefit would that have for the relationship, I guess?
Okay. So people.
I'm probably going to send you one after this.
Okay. So people have, that we have expectations.
Yeah.
We expect, we expect these things, and we just assume the other person is going to comply with that and naturally do that for us. And when they don't, we're like, what's wrong with you? Wait a second. Why aren't you doing? And then, fights start, arguments start, there's like tension in the air. Mm-hmm. And we knowingly have unreasonable expectations. Like, how can you expect someone who's not open emotionally to be open emotionally with you?
Yeah.
Or someone who's not affectionate to be affectionate? It's not really fair to them, and it's not fair to you. But if you don't know, so it's kind of, so I feel like for couples or parents of children, I mean, I was speaking at a networking event, and a lady comes up to me. She's like, can I just show you a picture of my daughter? And I was like, okay, just real quick. So, and I usually like to do hour sessions or like 50-minute sessions with people to give them the whole, to be fair.
Yeah.
But this is just a little quick snippet. So I read her daughter, and she goes, my husband has been so hard on her. He's like stats and like, come on, get to it and snap to it. Don't lollygag. And the girl is like really spiritual and laid back and easygoing. Mm-hmm. And it was like, and I said, the more he pushes her, the more she's going to resist him. Mm-hmm. So it helps people understand who they are naturally. And like my son, poor kid, I feel so bad. When he was younger, I give him a list of things to do. He'd be 12, 13 years old. I'm like, make your bed, do the laundry, take the trash out, and wash the dishes. And he'd come back and he'd have done one thing. And I'm like, did I speak Chinese? I mean, what's going on? He was in trouble. And I'd be yelling at him. And he's like, so, he's the type of person, it's like one thing at a time. Mm-hmm. Had I known that, he wouldn't have gotten in trouble, and I would have known how to give him the information or give him things to do. So it would have worked a whole lot better for both of us. I know that now.
So it doesn't necessarily mean they're doing it means
you're actually pushing your buttons,
Yeah. And it's funny you're saying that because the conversations that we've been having lately are about our expectations, like in a relationship or for the future. And like, I've been hammering that home. I'm like, I want to make sure we have the same expectations because I've been through this already. And if we want different things, like we need to know now. And so just having those conversations about,
It's smart, yeah.
yeah,
But if you don't, if you just, and just to make sure that the person's saying, being upfront and honest, because oftentimes people don't feel comfortable being truthful. Not to
yeah,
say they're liars or whatever, but
right. But it's,
negatively, but
well, shoot,
it's
if I say I'm not,
a
then I'm
safe
going to
space to
break up
be
in me.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I think face reading is a really good tool to have,
Yeah.
whether you learn it yourself or whether you just, I've spent years learning it, so just come to me,
Yeah.
but or another face reader, whoever. But it really gives quick insight into that kind of information to help you, to help them. It just helps everybody. And like, getting into a relationship, if you discover that it's not something that you want in a relationship, and this is really interesting when you think about relationships in the past. To be authentic and upfront here, people are attracted to certain types of features. Like you might like tall, dark, and handsome, or like, blonde haired, blue eyes, or whatever, or like certain kind of nose or certain kind of lips or nice teeth or whatever you're attracted to. And you're going to get the same kind of situations because you're attracted to the same things.
Yeah.
So you kind of come by it naturally, but it's fascinating if you think about it, right?
Right.
So by kind of, especially in a relationship, by taking a step back and instead of going out looking for the people who you find attractive, really doing a deep dive and finding out or listing all the attributes or qualities that you really, really like are nice to haves, must haves, things that didn't work in the past, things that did work in the past, or maybe things that you've always wanted in a relationship, or things you've seen in other people's relationship that you want to apply in yours that you'd like to have in yours.
Yeah.
Then, I look at that and kind of tell you what features to look for. And then within those types of people, you come up with who's the most attractive or who makes the most money or whatever, who lives in the right area or, right type of job or whatever, what kind of industry or similar interest, whatever criteria you look for. But also like in business, often people are misplaced in jobs, and just because they're good at it or they know a skill doesn't mean they're good at it or they enjoy it or they're going to get along with their team members.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I guess I've heard of like similar things to this, like the disc or just different things like that, where you take these big long interview questions or you answer all these assessments and they kind of spit out this thing towards you that kind of explains. And I love doing those things because I'm like, oh yes, I can see that, or oh, I find a lot of parallels with my own life, so I enjoy doing those. But it also helps me to like, I'm very much an extrovert. We'll just keep using me as an example since I'm here, but my boyfriend's very much an introvert, and so sometimes like that clashes with me because I want him to be more this way. However, him being that way really kind of gives me a balance and really helps me like not go crazy and not always be having a social life, or there's just different attributes like that. But
yeah, knowing it ahead of time or in advance can help you recognize it and really honor it and appreciate it versus and know that's the way he is, and don't expect him to be other than that.
Yeah. And he pretty much said those words to me. He's like, I'm not going to be like you. I'm like, I don't need you to be like me. This is funny. The timing of this is funny because we've been having all these conversations lately. Just like, we're just at a phase where it's just like, I mean, we're older. Like, it's like no bullshit now. It's just like,
right.
But he's a good guy. So anyways.
Awesome.
But it is kind of interesting because I think kind of knowing these traits and understanding these features that people have does help me. Like, I can probably, if I understood some more things about him, I could deliver my messages to him better, or I could understand behaviors
better. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So have you ever done this like in a relationship counseling setting, or if there's questions, I can't see them, so I don't know.
I'm going to have to look. Let's see.
Okay.
There are 3 people on, 4 people have reactions. Let's see. And Be Live has changed a little bit, so it's hard to see. If you have comments, no, there aren't any comments. Please let us know. I'm going to hide the title.
Yeah, if you guys have questions for Julie, feel free to reach out or comments. And we'll leave the video up too. So, right, it stays up, huh?
It'll stay up, and I'm assuming you're going to put it in your page as well. But yeah, if anybody has questions, please comment, or I'll put my email address in as well in a little while, so you can email me if you're interested in the reading, or if you just want more information or you're curious. So you can either in Facebook or email me, or both, whatever works. Okay.
That's perfect. Well, we can just talk a little bit more, and then I'll let you go so you can carry on with your night. But one of the other topics you kind of wanted to talk about was the self-love or the self-care, and kind of how this fits into that.
So, all right, the Chinese believe when we come into these lifetimes, okay, and there are certain things that we like with a purpose. So, like, what happens is often, not every time with every person, but what happens commonly is that due to society, or maybe your parents, or maybe it's a relative or a caregiver or a teacher or something, we will change. Like, say we're born and we're naturally good at cooking, or naturally good at art, or like video, or playing a piano. Like, you see these little kids like 2 and 3 years old playing these like Mozart or Beethoven. It's like, wow, what? How does this happen? How does it? They're like just barely out of the womb, right? They're already doing this thing, and they're so good at it. But or belting out an amazing song, like with a really advanced, mature voice.
Yeah.
And maybe the parent thinks, no, I want you to be an attorney, or I want you to be a doctor, or you need to be a landscaper. So to be accepted and loved by this person, we adapt, and we, commonly will so we're still accepted and loved, and we fit in. Because if we don't fit in, it's a problem, especially when you're little. Or often people will have be living their life for someone else, especially as a teenager or as an adult. Maybe your husband or your wife wants you to be, such and such, or, you change to adapt to someone else's expectations of you. And we get lost.
Yeah.
You might get depressed. You might feel empty. You might feel stuck. You might feel sick. You never know. But it's like, what's going on here? Yeah. And face reading helps find the breadcrumbs back as to who you really are. I had a client that came into this is like when I first started reading faces. She comes over and she's like, her sister doesn't think she should be nursing. She loves nursing. And her sister kept judging her. And it was like, well, what do you want? And I looked at her face and I'm like, you are like all nurturer. Yeah. And she started crying. It was like, it almost gives people permission to accept who they really are as a good thing, and really allow it again. Because we get so lost, and often people, there's like books. I remember when I was younger, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. And the book, What Color is Your Rainbow? If we're not honoring, sometimes it's like so close we can't see it. Right. So this really helps you, it helps you find that. Yeah. I had another client who was, this was interesting. This was my first time speaking ever. And she wanted a session with me. So she actually bought a package, and she wanted a relationship package. And she wasn't quite divorced yet, which I didn't find out until she came in. I was like, okay, there's a problem here. Yeah. But in doing some digging, I looked at her husband's picture, and I kind of helped her understand what happened there. So that was good. And then I said, something's missing. I said, the fire and the spark in your heart is out. What do you love to do? She goes, oh, I don't know. Because she was living her life for everybody else and forgetting about herself, which we commonly do. Yeah. But so I said, what did you like to do when you were a kid? And she said, well, I used to love to dance and listen to music, but we weren't allowed to. Parents didn't allow her to do that. So I said, well, did you do anything with music? And she said, well, we're allowed to roller skate. And I said, well, do you still know how to roller skate? And she's like she was pushing 60 at the time, maybe in her 60s. And she said, I love to roller skate. I said, well, would you consider going and doing it? So she started doing it. And the next time I saw her, like, she had spark in her eyes. She had like color. It wasn't like this blah, mundane expression on her face of emptiness. Wow. So it kind of brings back the spark of life and joy and like child's play. One thing I love to do that people would probably think I'm crazy if they saw me, and I won't do it if anyone's around, but I love stomping in puddles after a rain. I love it. It's like, just be free and be messy.
And that's perfect. And that's kind of, that resonates with me too, because I've been reading like Rachel Hollis's book, Girl Stop Apologizing, and just different things about how, especially as women, we shift so much to be what everybody else needs, which we think in society is always trained us. That's what, be nice, be this, be that,
Right.
make everybody else happy. That's what your job is. And in the process, we lose ourselves.
Yes,
and we become unhappy. But as an unhappy, unpurposeful lived life, like how beneficial are we in the end of the day to all these people anyway?
And then we're empty, and then we're resentful.
Yeah. And it just becomes this pattern. And so what happens is, well, shoot, our marriages suffer from it, our relationships suffer from it, our kids are probably not even living their best life, and that's just so crazy how it can snowball.
It's exactly, yeah, very true.
This is a really good starting point for probably anybody who's watching who's maybe struggling with their purpose. And I even myself, like I will go through these phases where I'm on this track, and then I'll get to a point where I feel like I'm at a crossroads, and I'm like, and I'm always trying to pay attention, like what brings me happiness, what makes me feel fulfilled, like which clients do I really enjoy, which clients do I cringe when my phone goes off, or just trying to be aware of more what is it that really makes me happy and makes me feel good. And that's a challenge. It's not easy to find, and I would say that it's constant work, but would you say this is a good starting point?
Absolutely.
Expound on that.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at two different areas. For one, that you're doing that for yourself.
Yeah.
We should in face reading. I look at because it's based on the 5 elements of Chinese medicine. So I look at each element and I'll ask specific questions that will give me answers as to where you are within balance there. Part of it I can see, like, if the spark is out, if there's no joy in your life, you're unhappy. I can see that, and I can ask if you're doing anything to. Or, what brings you joy? I don't always know what does, but like I can look at you and know that beauty and creativity are both a part of your nature. But I also know that exercise and being outdoors possibly, and maybe some competitiveness is there as well. So I would kind of find out where you are within that. If you're in balance, great. If you're not, okay, here are some things that you can do to bring you back in balance, it just makes you feel complete and whole.
Right. Right.
Does that answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. And that's pretty cool. So, how can we get a hold of you, and how does this work? And you've said a few times people can send you pictures, or do you do FaceTimes or Skypes, or how does it work?
I do Zoom video calls for people who are either not available to come over to do an in-person reading, or if they're not local. Mm-hmm. Or they can send pictures. We can do a phone call or in person. My Facebook page is facebook.com/JulieParkerBIZ. Or they can email me at innerblueprint@gmail.com, and I'll put it in the link below so people can find out. But yeah, I do one-on-one readings for one person, or if there's a relationship evaluation, if there's friction or some chaos going on, I can help bring harmony, find out what's happening, and a better route or a better approach for both of you. And, oftentimes, I don't like to say this too often, but it's help you evaluate what it's going to take to have a better relationship. Yeah. For the person to be open to hearing you without resistance, and then for you, so you know what it's going to take. So you can make the decision from an informed place of discernment. Yes, I want to stay in this, or maybe I should move on. Hopefully it's not the latter, but at least you have the information so you can decide. Oops. But
also to be aware of if it's within yourself,
yes,
not to blame the other person for everything, and just understand that this is how you are, so you're going to take it into the next relationship.
Take ownership of it so you can be aware of it and know how to proceed more efficiently the next time. Yeah.
That's perfect. Well, Julie, thank you so much for accommodating.
You're so welcome.
Host. Appreciate it. And I'd love to connect with you again sometime and just kind of follow up with this thing. And so do the pictures have to be high quality? What kind of a picture do you need?
Yeah, the better the picture, the more I can see. I tell you what kind of pictures I need, but the clearer they are, and I like to see the whole face, with the hair pulled back so I can see the hairline, the ears, the jaw, and then at a natural state, and then also smiling, sometimes with the eyebrows raised, and then a profile so I can see both sides of the face and from the hairline to the nose down to the neck, so I can see the chin and how far that sticks out, because it all means something.
That's so wild. That's
Or
so
many
cool.
things.
But how much more meaning does that give our lives to know that we're infinitely and wonderfully
I think it's lots more meaning. It helps you understand yourself, why you are the way you are, and shed light on things that you thought were negative that are actually amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
All good.
Well, thank you so much for being here, you guys. Thanks so much. Thanks for hanging in there with our technical difficulties. I'm totally grateful for Julie for hosting me, the host.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Next week we are going to talk to. I always gotta look and see. I don't even know what day it is. I think we're going to be talking to Michelle, and she is a fitness coach out in New York, and she does everything at home. So we're going to get to hear from her. But you guys follow Julie. I've tagged her in previous posts. It's super interesting if you're at a place in your life where you're trying to find your purpose, or you just need some direction, or would like to understand yourself a little bit better. I totally encourage you to check it out. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being here, Julie, and we will see you guys next week.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.